It's Kevin from Let Me Tech You. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the locals.tf file in Terraform. Now, when you're using Terraform, there may become a time where you will need to use already known values over and over again. So for example, in this video, we're going to go through and make a security group that references the known values that could be utilized over and over again to create multiple security groups rules in Azure. So if you're familiar with Terraform, you know that you can do variables and for each meta arguments, things like that. And a locals.tf file is just another way to kind of help keep your code tidy. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio here, and I have my setup here. And I'm going to create a locals.tf file. So inside of that, that's where we're going to create like our locals block with a map that basically will have each security group rules values in it. So then in our main.tf, the only thing we'll need is our security group, our network security group, and then in the network security group rule one time, and then we'll reference the values. And then using the for each loop, we'll be able to loop through our locals file and create every necessary security group rule that's going to be added. So basically, let's start here. I'm going to create, so we have our resource group. That's good. And then now I'm going to go ahead and, sorry for the noise there. It dropped something off my desk. So now I'm going to go ahead and create a network security group. So let's see, Azure RM underscore network security group. And then for the name, we're just going to call it, let's go security. Let's actually just go example. Keep it simple. Okay. Now, this is where if you're familiar with Terraform, if you're not, let me minimize that. We're going to go into the Terraform documentation, and you can actually easily find the block that you need. So network security group. So as you see in here, we could keep security rule here joined with group, but we're going to keep these separate. So I just need name, location, and resource group here. And those seem to be the only things required. So name is going to be allow RDP. And then location is going to be Azure RM. And then resource group 1 dot name dot location. Okay, so we got that set up. So now we have our security group set up, and that's all we need there. Now we're going to create a security group rule, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and create our locals file with the information that we need, because that's going to determine how we set up our security group rule, our security rule. So inside our locals file, in order to create this, you'll just need a locals block, and then this can be, it's not limited to just literal, so it can reference other values in your module, like variables, resources, other things like that. So basically, this is just a way for you to kind of create repeatable references within your environment to be able to utilize in other parts of your code. So in here, I'm going to create one that's called SG. And security, and that just stands for S security group. It doesn't have to be, you can make it whatever you want. And then that's going to equal. Now, this is where we're going to put our key and values. So the next step here is where you want to maybe kind of define a little more on how you want these rules to be set if you're doing security groups. So I'm not going to really, I'm just going to do allow RDP _1. And then you get into what you need for that. So for our security group rule, we see that we need all of these here. So we need all of these. I'm going to copy this real quick, and then you can obviously have your different requires and optional stuff down here. But we're going to keep this simple here and then paste all that in there. And let's go ahead and format this a little better. And now we can go through. So bring that back. So the resource group is going to be our resource group 1 dot name, and the network security group is going to be example dot name. So we kept that example, and we have a typo. Oh, we need an equals here. Okay, so we got name. Let's see. Let's shift these over here. There we go. So, and we can actually do a terraform format. So let's save this just so I can save this up here, and terraform format just to get it lined up perfectly. Okay, so now we got our local file. Security group. So now each time we want to add one, the only thing I need to do is go through here, there, and I would do a 2, and then name is test123. Priority is going to be 101. Source port, all this stuff will keep the same. And why is this? Oh, we need to add another closing bracket there. All right. So let's save that. And now in our main.tf, what we'll do is we'll create our network security group rule, and then we'll actually put the local values in there. So we'll go resource, and then Azure RM _ network security rule, and then it's going to be just we'll do example here as well. These can be the same, you just can't have the same within like another block. Like, so if I did security group, you can't do example again there. So now we're going to do a for each. And if you haven't seen my previous video on what for each does, it's basically just kind of loops through what repeatable code to just, you know, kind of keep making the same resource or whatever you set it to. So it's going to equal locals.sg. So we basically want to loop through this local file and create everything in there. And the values for that is going to be name. And basically we can actually take everything in this locals file. I can copy all this. And let's see, paste it in here. And what we'll do is let's bring all these back. And we'll change how it's being referenced. So the name isn't going to be, so now what we need to do is we need to do an each. So for each, we want to do each dot key. And what this is going to do is going to take the key, which is this here, and make it the name of the security group rule, that particular line of the ACL. So then now we want the values of these. So priority is going to be each dot priority, and then so on and so forth. So let me see here what we have. And we're going to do value dot direction access. Just making sure I got everything in here I need. Okay. So each dot value dot priority. Same thing for here. Dot value dot direction. Each dot value dot access. And let me speed this up here. Okay, so got those all set up, and now we can actually go and look. So we got our each dot value dot key, and so basically it's going to loop through, create anything that it sees in this locals file. Now you might be thinking, well, why not just use a variable? Well, the locals, we know like these values are already known. Like we know that these are what's being referenced, and it's not going to change. So it's basically like when we think locals, think of like a local. It's basically like these are local to this function. So we can essentially have these values already out there, but we just don't want to have to go ahead and add multiple network security rules, because we didn't do it this way. For each one of those rules that's created, we have to copy this and paste it 3 times and put our values in there. Whereas with this, now we can kind of keep it clean. We can keep this here, but we can just come in and edit this field or this file, and then keep all of our stuff in one place. And that may kind of keep it a lot easier to kind of focus on what's going on in the code versus having to like scroll through, say, 20 different security rules just to find what you're specifically looking for. So, that's just one way to use locals in your environment. If you have any questions in regards to this video or ways to utilize it with other resources, drop me a comment down below. I'll be always willing to help. Maybe even make another video utilizing that example. If you want to see some other videos in regards to Terraform or blog articles, visit my blog, letmetechyou.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be always putting up new videos on networking, security, and automation. Again, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.